In this video, we'll discuss top-heavy facial structure and what that means regarding old age and mental processes, as well as actionable steps to support this feature. Enjoy. Today, we're talking about top-heavy faces, and what that means is that the upper portion of the face has more material form up top and less material form as you go down the face towards the chin. The easiest way to think about this is the shape of an inverted triangle, where the base is at the top, the point is at the bottom. If someone's face overtly takes on this shaping, or even mildly, you want to be thinking about this idea. That's what top heavy means: more energy at the top and more form at the top, and less form and energy at the bottom. Now, with anything in face reading, any feature, any shaping, any elemental strength, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses that go with that associated feature. So this is going to be true here as well. I want you to think about this and pay attention, because if you orient yourself well to that process, you have an empowered action plan for your life. You have to be very careful in face reading in this field to not be consumed by the wow factor. And what that means is, a lot of times what I've seen in the face reading circles is someone will say, hey, according to the book, your feature that you've got means this. And people go, wow, that's right. How did you know that? And then that's where it begins and ends. And that is not the point of face reading. That's not to say that face reading isn't very interesting and very cool and fascinating when we do see those connections. But if you're going to sit there and just go, wow, it's a waste of time. If I tell you something about your face in relation to theory and you say, wow, my response is, but now what? What do you do with that information? Because there's going to be a strength and a weakness with this. So what the hell are you going to do about it? That's a way more fun game to play also, and way more empowered. You get to be an empowered person in the game of life rather than a victim to circumstance of life. So that being said, let's talk about the things to think about, the pros and cons with this shaping of the face. The lowest hanging fruit is that because the forehead relates to the mental sphere, the broader, the bigger, the more open the forehead is, the more the mental sphere is active. So if we have more material form up here, what that's saying is the mental sphere can run in overdrive. This is a person who can overthink, ruminate excessively, a person who, once they start thinking, they cannot stop. Once they get on a mental train of thought, they have a very difficult time stopping that process. They have a real difficulty getting that mental hamster off the wheel. Now, the positive side of that is a person can be incredibly smart. They might have amazing computing power. A person that comes to mind is Nikola Tesla, profound genius with a very top-heavy face. This also doesn't mean explicitly that if you have a top-heavy face, you're the next Nikola Tesla. That's not how it works. I'm just showing you how these things can correlate and how they can express. So if you were a person who has a top-heavy face and you see this, or someone you know who has a top-heavy face, and they are prone to overthinking, ruminating too much, being excessively on that mental hamster wheel, the thing you want to do is fulfill the metrics in the opposite direction. And what that points to are these three layers called heaven, man, and earth in Chinese medicine. It relates to Jing, Qi, and Shen as well. But the idea is this: the upper portion of the face relates to youth. The middle portion here relates to middle age. The lower portion of the face relates to old age. This part of here is the immaterial heaven energy. Mankind or humanity sits in the middle, and then the earth rhythms sit at the bottom. So the thinking is, if you are at a stage in your life where you have a top-heavy face and you're aware that you overthink and you're excessively mental in your capacities, you need to fill the earth down here. Now, I know this relates to the wood element, so take that lens, that layer of the 5 elements out and use this one I'm talking about. There's different layers and lenses that you have to apply in face reading, and turn off the other lens while you do it. So turn off the 5 element lens, turn off Jing, Qi, Shen for a minute, and just think about this layer. These are earth rhythms down below. When the face has less material form down here, that means you need to have your feet planted on earth. People that are highly anxious and overthink and run that way, they need to be outside. They need to be outside a lot. They need to go into their backyard when they read. They need to go for morning walks. All humans do, but some people need it a bit more for their mental health and mental stability. They need to get their feet on bare ground. They need to be outside, go camp, and be in nature as much as possible. Swim in ponds, swim in the ocean, go on boat rides, do things that get you into natural environments, because that is one of the ways that you remediate the thinking process. So instead of saying, I'm doomed because I have this feature, oh, that means I'm going to be obsessive and thinking too much my entire life. Features don't explicitly pigeonhole you into a way of being. What they show you is your karmic agreement. What they show you is that this is what you carry, this is what you've got, and there are ways to navigate it to make it easier. You can't get rid of it. You can't cure it, quote unquote, but you can make it easier, and that's the game. It'll take you out of the pissing and moaning about your life circumstance and say, well, yeah, I've got this. This is a thing I struggle with, and here are my strengths, but that's true for everybody. I have my strengths and weaknesses, and all face reading has done is help me accept where I leak and how to improve those leaks, or at least slow them down and sometimes even stop them. So that's one. Get outside if you're anxious and if you have a top-heavy face and you run this way. The next one is the age brackets, which I just mentioned a minute ago. Youth, middle age, old age. When we see a top-heavy face and we see less material form as we go down the face, the jaw gets smaller. Because there's less material form, that means the age bracket of old age has less material form. So be careful here. Does that mean that you're doomed to a shitty old age experience? No, it doesn't. But what it does mean is that your life force expression is likely going to slow down. It's likely going to quiet itself and be more subdued as you age. That's fine. That's great. The problem is when you resist that. No, I want to be high gear, high drive, doing the same mental thing I was in my 20s and 30s. And then you hit some problems, especially into old age when the body is getting weaker. You want to be gentle and nourishing and attentive to your body, mind, and spirit as you age. So if you're seeing this, as we get older and the face is narrowing at the bottom, this is an invitation to slow down, to work on your yin metrics: tranquility, stillness, prayer, meditation, introspection, journaling, art. Do things that are going to slow down and bring you into a place of stillness, because chances are, if you have a face like this, your old age is inviting you in to have quieter latter years. Again, that's all right. That's not bad. That's just the way it goes. For what it's worth, the most even distribution of energy for a face shape is the rectangle, because it means the Jing is expressing evenly down that rectangular shape all of life. It's like how much Jing is allocated throughout the stages of your life is pretty even. And for what it's worth, there are challenges that go with that as well. That way of being can lead to monotony and lack of inspiration and a series of other things. So it's not like the rectangular people have like, oh, well, their energy is evenly distributing their entire life, therefore they don't have any challenges. It's like, no, we're all going to have our things. Think of your facial features and these things as things to embrace and surrender to and work with. Don't hate them. Don't judge them. Just accept. We all have karmic agreements. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing. So think about these metrics. Anxiety-ridden, top-heavy face, get into nature. If you have a narrow face at the bottom, see that as a larger roadmap for an invitation as you age to become more attentive and to slow down and to pay attention, because if you don't, this is where problems arise. All right, y'all. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for your time.